Welcome into the Old North State Sports Show. Part of the reason we are branched out from Two Grounds, One Roar is so that I can do things like this and talk college football, which you guys have known that I've been talking college football, but we're here to make it a little bit more formal. And of course, we're going to keep it close to home as we always do. I'm still looking to fine tune how this thing is going to work, but I'm going to talk about any college football that we want. And today we're here to talk about UNC going back to grass, the opener for UNC in the ACC. Penn State hiring a new defensive coordinator from a very familiar foe, and a look at Joe Klatt's way too early top 25, at least the top 5 or 6 teams. And maybe as a bonus, we'll talk through the national championship, which is now over. But let's get this thing started, folks. Grass is coming back to Kenan Stadium. We know the turf replacement, I think it started in 2019 or happened in 2019. We're getting towards the end of turf, and it was going to have to be replaced anyways, per Bubba Cunningham. So now they made a decision to go back to grass, and I'm a big fan of this, folks. Football should be played on grass. I tagged the Carolina Panthers in the news when this was posted. No idea if they'll pay attention, but maybe one day they will, and Tepper will see that. But anyways, let's look at a statement from Bubba Cunningham on replacing it. I'll take off the banner so you can read it. With our current turf reaching the end of its lifespan, the timing made sense to return Kenan Stadium to its natural grass roots. Carolina Director of Athletics Bubba Cunningham said, "Our staff takes great pride in maintaining a top-tier field that reflects the excellence of UNC football, and we look forward to cheering on the team as it competes on a world-class natural grass surface next season." You have to believe that part of this is Bill Belichick. Not part, all of it. Bill Belichick wanted to have a grass field. He got it. Like the timing of this. Contractor Carolina Green, based in Indian Trail, North Carolina, will install 67,000 square feet of game-on grass to Homicide, as well as 36,000 square feet of synthetic turf around the field's perimeter. So they'll still keep part of the synthetic turf on the sidelines. The irrigation system will use reclaimed water similar to other Carolina athletic fields. So there you go. My main question was, are the hedges coming back? But it sounds like if they're putting artificial turf around the edges, likely not the case. I like artificial turf in places where players are standing. Like, that's fine by me. Doesn't bother me. Speaking of, we'll back up a second here. No slide on this, but the UNC football opener. So the ACC schedule is currently being released. I was hopeful that we would be able to preview this as I was coming on the show and recording this, but they're in the middle of it. We're starting to see some games come in. So we'll do a full reaction of this when available. But North Carolina does not kick off their season in the ACC until week 6. So I feel like and they're not the only team, a few other teams not kicking off till week 6. But I think they're doing Bill Belichick a huge favor, partially, giving him a chance to kind of get his team together. We know ACC play is going to be more important than whatever happens in non-conference, although I would hate for him to lay an egg against UCF or TCU or Charlotte or whoever. But kicking off week 6, October 4th, at home against Clemson. That's a very tough game to open the season with. So you have to feel like, for the University of North Carolina, that's going to get a little bit easier. So in a way, I think they're doing them a favor. One is their first ACC game. It gives Bill a chance to get his feet underneath him. It also gives him a chance to lose early and still make the playoff. And yeah, we're talking about that right now. I have no idea if this team is going to be good enough to make the playoffs. And I'm not, as a fan, expecting it, but still early. But you get them a little bit earlier. Maybe the hope is you can catch them off guard. I think it would be much worse for North Carolina to have to play them late in the season. So I think this was just a big moment and a kudos to help Bill Belichick on that side. Now, going back, Penn State lures defensive coordinator Jim Knowles away from Ohio State. This is just a weird it's a weird time in college football. So you have Penn State's DC going to Clemson. You now have Ohio State's DC, who just won a national championship, going from Ohio State. And I know they're not as big of a rival as Michigan, but still somewhat of a rival in the Big Ten. I think this is good news, honestly, for Penn State trying to get over the hump. We're going to take a look at like the way too early rankings heading into next year, and I think there's a good chance for Penn State to make some momentum. I don't know if they can get over the hump. Like, let's be real. They're still Penn State, in my opinion. It's kind of like Notre Dame Notre Dame won quite a few. Penn State won quite a few that came up against each other. But until you can get over that hump, people are still going to question, like, do you got it? Are you sure? Can they do it? So I don't know. Looking at your way too early top 25, this is provided by Joe Klatt. Speaking of Penn State, he has Penn State as number 1 heading into next year. Texas at number 2, Ohio State 3, Georgia 4, and Oregon at 5. I don't hate this list. I don't think Penn State, I know Penn State is bringing back a good portion of their roster. I like Texas right now, and I think a lot of that's just the Arch Manning. Like, everyone's going to buy into Arch Manning. Ohio State, until they lose, should still be up there, even if they're losing a decent amount of talent. And same thing with Georgia. Georgia always turns it over. Oregon at number 5, I don't know if I can buy into them just yet, and I haven't even looked at schedules to know, but I guess we'll find out. Anyways, folks, that's going to do it for today's show. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.